Representatives, please state your name for the record when I call the taxing district you represent. City of DeKalb,
Bill Nicholas.
DeKalb Community Unit School District 428,
Jamie Craven.
DeKalb County,
Gary Hansen.
DeKalb Park District,
Heather Collins.
DeKalb Township,
Craig Smith.
Kishwaukee Community College.
Bob Johnson.
6 present.
Thank you. Item C, approval of minutes. We have minutes from the joint review meeting of October 25th, 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
Any additions, deletions, anything? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item D, public participation. Anyone from the public wish to address the board? Thank you. Item E, presentation of fourth quarter 2019 TIF financials.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've presented in your background report for today's meeting our standard revenue and expenditure reports for both TIF 1, which is Fund 260, and TIF 2, which is Fund 261. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for Mr. Nicholas? Heather? Having no questions, then do we need a motion to approve? I don't think we do we?
No.
All right, then we'll move on to item F, TIF project update.
All right, we're moving pretty quickly. I gave you an update in the background report that I did. The Egyptian Theater project continues just before the winter break, winter holiday. The Egyptian Theater addition was fully enclosed, the roof on, and work has continued through the last month and a half inside. Within about 3 weeks, I understand, the new bathrooms on the first floor will be open to the public, and there'll be a little bit of a ceremony around that, probably. Not many bathrooms in town. It's probably. And there may be a deferral of some of the projects that were planned for the second story, but more to follow there because the city's portion has just about been spent. And our expectation was the project would be at least a $4 million project. It's right there right now in terms of planned work. There's probably another $1.5 million on top of that they'd like to do, but they have to get the funding to continue, and it may be that they won't get that in line before the general contractor wants to pull the job together and move on. So, but from the standpoint of our TIF investment, the money has been well spent. The heating and air conditioning, which was the focus of the city's investment, is done. The heating system is working now, and the air conditioning, we trust it's been tested and will work in the spring. We'll find out. But Plaza DeKalb, as you can see, since we met last time, it's up, it's enclosed. Drywall is on the first 2 floors. It's been hung and taped and finished. The top 2 floors, the drywall has been hung and it's being taped and finished as we speak. So there's usually that's not quite 2/3 of the way. There's finishes from a carpentry standpoint. There's all the fixtures that go in and the millwork and so forth. But it's moving along. The commercial end is there's still some leasing going on there, and the plan is still the same to have a grocery in there. But that has not. It's not been built out yet inside because there may be some walls, some partition walls or something to be put in. The Agora Tower project, since we last met, that building is down. A lot of the masonry has been crushed and will be used. It's been stockpiled and will be used in toward the end of the project, probably a year from now, as the paving gets closer to being started. And we're pleased with that. The environmental mitigation is done, and as soon as weather permits, there'll be footings, and we'll get going. 206 East Lincoln Highway is a newer project since we last met, and there's been a little bit of media coverage of this that concerns the Bailly family's property, where Eduardo's was open for so many years, and there's a proposition before the city council. It was before them about 2 weeks ago, and will come up again on Monday night, and I think the council at that point will give us direction, and we'll bring it back probably for a TIF forgivable loan on the February 10th city council meeting. Stop me if I'm just rolling through these, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
what are they wanting to do with that property?
So it is on the market,
Okay.
and so that's a good question. It's part of a conversation that the council had at the last meeting. But the approach that the city has taken, and most cities take, is that in that this is a viable building, it's not a falling down building that an investment in at this point would be a poor investment. There is interest now. It's been on the market for a while, but most recently there has been interest in the purchase of the building. So the council, if it decides to issue a forgivable loan, it would be an investment in the enhancement of the building and to expand the taxable base and the value, if whoever owns it, of the remodeled second story will significantly enhance the EAV of the property. So
Okay.
whether Joe or Sally or whoever owns it, it's going to be generating property tax increment into the TIF district. So that's been the approach we're taking.
Okay.
Just this morning I met with two people who were working together to probably approach the family and talk about purchase of the building. Finally, I gave you a recap. It's really the same recap as 3 months ago. We had spent most of our architectural improvement program by the last JRB meeting, and there's been no additional granting in that limited program. $50,000 was the budget cap in 2019 and is also in 2020, which gets us to the fiscal year 2020 TIF budget, which is part of our annual budget, of course, which was approved by the council in late November. And I've excerpted both the narrative and the statistical pages from the budget for your review and consideration. Something to note, this is the first time in DeKalb's history that we've gone from a large TIF to a smaller TIF on the same turf, so to speak. And TIF 3, as you know, is about 1/10 the size of TIF 1. So for, I don't know how else to describe this, talking to the county clerk, we thought that if you could see the TIF 3 as the shadow in 2019, which now becomes the bright color on top of about 300-400 parcels, and you can't have two TIFs operating on the same parcel. Now TIF 1 basically goes silent or goes away underneath, and so we're making a transfer. You noticed in the budget a significant transfer to TIF 3, which is how we move the balance for those parcels into the future. So I hope that makes some sense to you.
Did you only move the balance of the parcels that will be in the new TIF?
The predominant amount goes into the new TIF, yeah, the TIF 3. But TIF 1 is still operating and will for this year and next year based on the decision that we made here in 2019. So it still has a budget and we can draw from it.
Other questions?
Oh, I should mention the forensic, oh, that's the next item. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we kind of went from
Okay.
item
I
F.
segued.
You kind
Sorry,
of combined
Mr.
item
Chairman.
F and G.
I did.
but, Any question on the 2020 TIF budgets? Kind of covered that. No questions? All right, if we can move to item H, the forensic audit update.
Right, I just attached a photocopy of the last correspondence we had with the lead person for Ernst & Young. We're reasonably certain the field work is done. There may be one or two requests, but we're pretty confident it's done at this point. So auditors, as you're familiar, will be working on a report for their findings, and the findings in that report will then be given to the state's attorney. And at some point, we'll get copies of that, and we'll have some conversation, and there'll be a release of the findings, and then we'll report to you. So you'll probably get a report electronically, and maybe some note from me before your next JRB meeting, or if you prefer, and we'll see we don't know what the results will be at this point, but if you prefer to have a special meeting, we're happy to do that too.
Well, I think it kind of depends on the timing
Yeah.
of when
When
it comes out. I mean, if it's closer to the April 24th meeting, but if we feel like collectively we need to have a special meeting, then, we could do so. Anything else, Bill, on the audit?
I have nothing else to add.
Well, the last item is that our next meeting is scheduled for April 24th, 2020, 1 p.m., and what will be the location of that meeting?
Well, I guess it depends on the juice in the agenda. If it's we see today, we can have it at the new building. If not, we can either have it at the library or we can have it at the police department. I will let you know.
Okay.
As you know, we're going to be relocating our council meetings to the library. We can do the same with this meeting. We have to pay rent beyond the plan commission and council commitments for the year. And I'm not a spendthrift, as you know.
Well, if that's the case, then we could
We're
potentially
more than welcome to use the DeKalb Township building.
find some
We can do
other
that too.
other
We'll find
location.
another suitable place.
Okay. With that, a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 113.
Thank you.